Yes, I'm sure you have a question already. Revenue.
Yeah.
How are we generating this?
Okay, yeah, so it's gonna be a tool that will be serviced through Google Store. So that's the application where actually you can buy the tool, right? So within the tool, actually, there's information toolkits that you can buy within the tool, right? So like the tool, as I said, it provides, active citizens actually who are interested in freshwater biodiversity with a water quality app, with information on your box, with information on the ecosystem services and goods. It provides you with other necessary toolkits that we have on wetlands and also on monitoring environment. So this is what actually we're gonna package within the tool. And on the web-based, it's basically through, as I said, subscription and a fee structure where actually there will be a trial period, but a trial period actually would limit other actually functionalities. So if you are a paid subscriber, particularly for businesses, it will provide you with actually extended functionalities. So that's how, from the application point of view, that I'll make actually revenue. And from a funding point of view, as I said, my tool actually is an extension node of big role players in the environment. So it speaks to Water Research Commission, it speaks to SENBI, it speaks to Department of Environmental Affairs, Department of Water and Sanitation. So in terms of the startup funding, I am guaranteed that for the operational aspect of it, actually, I would have funding capacity. And also, there's a program that actually it's running in our research site where it's funded by an international funder, where they aiming just to capacitate regions with access of information to biodiversity. So in terms of my model of generating funding, internal funding, external funding, revenue through the system, I think actually that's one thing that actually I've sorted out. So I have partners, I have stakeholders who are aligned to my objectives of the program.
So they necessarily funding the research side of things.
The
R&D.
Sorry?
So they financing the R&D of it.
They're funding the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the concept that actually tries to monetize, using biodiversity information for decision making.
Yeah. Sorry.
So
you may go.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first I want to say, I think thank you for being one of the few that really tries to go into the natural resource management area, which is an area where creating a business is extremely difficult. So I think thank you for that. I'm trying to get an idea of why a business would buy your product. It looks like a tool that government should be providing, really, to everyone, the way you described it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But what would you add for a business compared to the public information that's already out there? I mean, DIA provides a lot of information, DWS as well, SANBI and WRC and so on. So how would you say there's value addition for businesses? Why can't they just use what's publicly out there?
Okay.
And then could you link it to some of the mandatory requirements for companies as well, in terms of wetland management and so forth?
Yeah. So what makes my feature differently, as you heard me, is a lot of information that is out there is sort of in the scientific standards, right? So one of the things that actually in our company we do actually in terms of packaging information is to make it user friendly. So we have in our company various mini-sense tools. So it's a water quality app that is already out there, but currently it's in an Excel sheet, right? So we're gonna customize it actually to suit the needs of the user. So that's one thing that actually, data is available out there, but in terms of how it is structured to a user will be different. So, there's a lot of features that actually I didn't mention, but there's games and apps that are related. Quiz games, whatever. So those will be more aligned to the schooling curriculum, and there's gonna be features where actually it's very informative to, I mean, particular markets, you know, whether it be you or business. And in coming to the business actually side of things, particularly to companies, where they have experiences with dealing with EIAs. I talked about a compliance aspect of things. So there will be a panel within the website where actually it's going to be more EIA. So the thing is, it depends on the level of user that you are. If you are a normal user, I mean, say a school kid, the information that will be packaged to you will be differently to an expert who's in the EIA or government. So the tool actually will integrate, will be very holistic, and it will be very multidisciplinary to try just to cover the needs of a user. But that's how, in a nutshell, it will be. It will be customized information in one system.
What do you think your size of your opportunity is? How big is your market, and who is currently playing in that space?
Okay.
My colleague said it does sound like what government should be doing, but they're not doing.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say you develop it for companies. What's the size?
Okay. The size is national, and the size could be potentially continental. The reason I'm saying this is because Water Research Commission took a project to develop a MiniSAS app. So this was an app that actually could be integrated in schools. So whenever you go to a school, whatever, you use MiniSAS app. So until they reached a peak, using the tool, that actually it was no longer, you know, penetrating and achieving results because it was one-dimensional. So, and now I also have to mention there's a portal system that is very similar to my tool, but it's not. It's a wetlands portal system of South Africa, where it's very generic. They're providing people with EIA stuff, they're providing events and updates and training courses, but it's not actually tying into people like you. It's not very user-friendly. So my tool actually, it encompasses people like you. It tries to make you guys actually the central figure within my tool. So within the actual market, it's national because of provincially in every province there's data. There's a provincial government, there's catchment management agencies, there's environmental programs, there's schools actually who are recipients actually of various programs. And one thing that I also have to mention is actually there's the typical contemporary practice is for educators, environmental educators, to go to schools to teach them. So my tool actually, it takes away that because of, as I said, it's aligned to the curriculum. So there's a need for Department of Education to make this actually a suite tool within their curriculum. So they can actually easily access it and make use of the functionalities of it and download tools. So imagine if actually this is available to you. Imagine if this is actually available to everybody. So as I said, actually there's data, there's a lot of data, there's continuous data. So, I mean, it's a system that will be continually updated because of this capacity to update with information, this capacity to go over time and supply you guys with data. So it's actually taking data and providing you with data.
I have one quick question I applaud you for trying to get natural resource type R&D out there and more usable by the general public. That's a long, very difficult struggle to, well done. It's a really cool idea. But what I think I want to echo some of the comments that were made to previous your colleagues. I think you might be trying to do too much. And what you potentially need to think about is, as eco-friendly as I would like to be, I don't necessarily want an app like the one you're talking about. And I'm using me as a proxy for the general public. So I think what you need to think about is who in the general public or business environment you want to target and actually consult. So for example, a Coca-Cola who would need clean water to make Coke, design your app or speak to them about what they actually want or what information they would need, or a Distel winery in Cape Town. So you need to maybe do a little bit more market research about who you want to target or something like this.
Yeah. So like,
we need to move quickly on. We have one more participant in other than the others, and there's the tour of them. But I think the feedback,
Yeah, we can
I
take it
found it
also.
very valuable to listen to the feedback.
yeah.
You're wanting one more comment?
No, just one comment
Yeah,
to
yeah.
her. Just for time constraints,
Yeah.
the National Freshwater Ecosystem Priorities identified companies like that actually that there's a need to develop a water quality tool. So my tool, when I mentioned business enterprises, I didn't want to mention actually the whole list of CAB, whatever. So it actually conforms to that. I think actually for me to come up with this, it's been through a consensus agreement in the freshwater scientific community.
Sorry to jump in before your answer.
Just one quick one. Could this be packaged as a game for exploring scenarios? There's been a lot of success in the civic space around games that have been playing in Kailicha with communities to explore alternatives and to see all the constraints.
Yeah, there's I talked about games. I talked about there's an initiative that actually is running in Cape Town, Stellenbosch. It's called the Ant. Using ants is provided by I think it's WESA. They provide games through Google Store also. But as I said, actually this is all independent tools, but there's no actually one stop actually where, yeah. So that's